Oh yeah, there we go. Nice, got him. Oh man, this is a fighter.
Hello everybody, and thanks for joining me. Today is Friday, May the 5th, which is the start of the 2023 fishing season. So naturally, I'm headed north on Highway 12. We'll cross the North Saskatchewan River using the Petrovka Bridge, heading toward the town of Blaine Lake. We will drive straight through the town, continuing on Highway 12 all the way to its end. Next, we'll turn left onto Highway 3, and we'll drive a few kilometers until we turn right onto the 695. This is the road that will take us nearly all the way to Lake Savard, one of the best lakes I know of for kayak fishing. Here's why. Paddlers care about two things in a lake. One, its surface area. Kayaks can only go so far. And two, distance from shore. Kayaks are vulnerable. Being near a shore with a good windbreak is crucial. Both of these criteria Lake Savard scores extremely well in. Fish also need a variety of things to thrive, all of which this lake has. Because of this, Lake Savard earns the score 10 out of 10 and will set the bar for other lakes to be compared to. Pulling into our campsite signifies the start of the 2023 camping season. As we get familiar with our campsite, known as Alice's Place, let's have a look at this weekend's to-do list. 1. Make it to Lake Savard. Check. 2. Go kayaking. 3. Catch a fish. 4. Keep and cook the fish. 5. Eat the fish. 6. See the inflowing Shell River. 7. See the outflowing Shell River. Now, it would be unwise for me to go kayaking tonight, but casting from the dock seemed like a good idea, until I saw this sign saying that it wasn't. So don't do that. The next morning is beautiful and spring is in the air, but it's also been very dry and we've just been placed under a fire ban. Nonetheless, it's a great day for some kayaking, and once I set off, I've officially started my 2023 kayak fishing season. And I've got a plan. First, I'll cross the lake where I've been told the fishing is pretty good, and once I get there, it looks pretty fishy. Let's try tossing this red cyclops near shore.
Oh, that would be sweet. Feels like a fish. Oh yeah, there we go. Good start.
That didn't take very long.
Not bad at all.
Sucks to be this fish,
Hey.
but it's getting kept.
Gonna string them up.
We're now looking at the first western narrows. Had I continued in this direction, it would have led me to the inflow for this lake, the Shell River. I decided I would save it for later, and instead I fished my way to the outflowing Shell River. I also dipped my camera in the water, and it makes sense that we're getting bites here, as this lake looks like it's full of life. As I'm paddling on the outflowing Shell River, I realize that this lake is held up by a dam.
No fucking way. That's amazing.
It doesn't take much to impress me. It's a fairly simple dam, likely just to provide a bridge across the Shell River for the farmer nearby. Regardless, we've reached an impasse, meaning this is as far downriver as we can go without portaging. It also means that the water upstream is being held up, although in this case only by a couple of inches. Let's head back to where the river meets the lake. This is usually a good spot to fish.
Oh yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. Awesome.
Let's also head back to where I caught the first fish of the day.
That's a fish. There we go. Nice. What do we got? that. Let's see if we can get this guy in here.
Once again, we're looking at the first western narrows, leading us to the Shell River. We'll come back after lunch. For now, let's head back to shore where we'll deal with the fish that I'm keeping. I'll have to fillet it, a skill I'm not very good at, and because it's a pike, I'll have to cut out the Y bones, a skill I'm even less good at. In the end, you should end up with something that looks kinda like this.
That should be good. Toss it in.
We'll put all of our fish into a buttered pan. Crack 1 egg, cook and stir. Add cheese as desired, and the result is pike and eggs. And now, the hardest part of the weekend, actually eating the fish. See, as you may have noticed, I don't typically keep fish, and that's because I don't really like eating fish. But once a year, I check whether my tastes have changed. And it's actually very good. Even this guy wanted some. After lunch, the only thing left on the to-do list is to see the inflow for this lake. So by 3:45, it seems like a good time to start.
All right, we are back. And we're headed to the inflow. It's called Shell River.
And things start similarly by setting off and crossing the lake to where I caught the first and last fish.
There it is.
And we've got another.
That's it. All right, cool. No!
But it got off. We're going to pass through the first western narrows, bringing us to the smallest section of a lake with 4 small sections. Next is the second western narrows, and passing through that brings us very close to the inflowing Shell River. And where a river meets a lake is almost always a good place to fish, so I had high hopes for the first cast. Alright, it seems there are hungry fish around. Let's see if we can see why. Oh. Alright, let's keep casting here. We had one last bite, but didn't land anything, so I decided to head upriver. Eventually, we'll see evidence that a beaver lives here, and the first visualization of the current for the Shell River. Past that is the Beaver's Dam. This really shows us the inflow for Lake Savard. We'll notice it matches the outflow. That's because there really isn't any other notable inflows for this lake. Therefore, the same river that feeds it also drains it. I wondered if fishing upstream of the beaver dam would have any luck, but it didn't. Well, once again, we're blocked by a dam. This time, it belongs to a beaver. Let's head back up the length of the Shell River. We'll paddle across the lake, through the second narrows, and into the smallest section of lake. I'm going to try casting a MEP spinner here. Sure enough, I've got a bite.
Nice. Got him.
It's a decent sized pike.
That's a decent sized pike right there.
And while catching this fish, I broke my rod. Similar spot, same lure, and the same broken rod.
Oh yeah, that's a fish.
And we've got another bite. Just watch how it pulls me around.
Oh man, this is a fighter. Come.
At this point, only one of my cameras was still recording, so I don't have the best footage, but this was easily the largest fish of the day. After catching what I assume is one of the largest fish in the lake, it's time for me to head back and settle in for the night. The next morning is another perfect spring morning, and I'm ready for a day on the water. Having completed everything on this weekend's to-do list, I decide I would revisit the inflowing Shell River. So we'll set off one last time and make our way across the lake. Once again, we're headed for the first Western Narrows, a spot that hasn't let us down yet. Once we get there, we'll try the same red spoon that's worked well for us all weekend. Okay, there goes our lucky lure. Let's rig up the spinner that caught those big fish yesterday. After a few casts, I've got a bite, but no fish. I'm curious why this spot is as good as it is. There always seems to be hungry fish around. Checking the water, it seems it has the right cover and depth for the fish. Not only that, but we're right next to the first Western Narrows, on our way to the inflowing river. Effectively, a mini section of river surrounded by lake. As we move into the smallest section of lake, let's check the water where we caught those big fish. Yeah, seems like a good place to be a fish. We will pass through the second Western Narrows, making our way to the mouth of the Shell River. Knowing that this is a good place to catch fish, I'll throw a few casts. After that, we'll start the paddle upstream. Eventually, we'll find ourselves back at the beaver dam. A good portion of the reason I came here was just to check the water with my camera. On the way back, I tried to visualize the course of the river on its way to Lake Savard. Once back on the lake, I paddled over to this fallen tree just to see what it was. I then began my paddle back. On the way, I got a bite, but it was just another small pike. That inspired me to cast my way back, but when I made it to the dock, I was really tired. However, I really wanted to get one last video of the outflowing Shell River, so I paddled all the way to the dam just for this video. What we're looking at is the water of Lake Savard spilling over the dam. It was supposed to look a lot cooler. Okay, let's begin paddling back to camp. This will end our time at Lake Savard, and we will begin driving home for another work week. Thanks for joining on this weekend's outdoor adventure, and remember to join on next weekend's adventure. Thanks for watching.